case of 12-year-old Sylvester Romani still stings, but while his family and indeed Nigerians are yet to recover from that, the news of a 19-month-old baby being flogged into coma, which led to his death in Delta State, has forced Nigerians to demand psychological tests for teachers. It has also ignited a raging debate about whether or not corporal punishment should be adopted as a correctional method of raising school pupils. Let's talk this through by speaking with director, the Posh School, RonkePosh. For beating them is too much.
Well, we shouldn't be spanking and hitting children anyway. I've been an advocate of no hitting of children. And when I listened to you as you spoke this morning, I've just been shaking my head since all this has been happening. Now, social media has brought it out to the limelight. And a lot of parents say they are concerned. But this same practice is what they do in their homes. A lot of parents beat their children. They've done it historically. Those parents are the same types of parents that raised these teachers. Beating children, flogging children. It's a national culture. We do it all the time. Everybody does it.
Is it national?
It's a national.
Or African?
Well, we're talking about Nigeria because
Okay.
they are African. You know, I've not lived in other African countries. I know they do it, but in our own context, we're talking about Nigeria. We do it a lot. A lot of parents do it. I've been talking about not beating and smacking children. I've written a book about it, and they will still quote the Bible and say, "Spare the rod and spoil the child." The same Bible says a disobedient child to be stoned to death. Should we do it? Now that children are dying in the schools, they are all shouting now because their own stick did not kill a child yet. So people that are casting that stone, they're just as guilty.
So how did you react to the 19-month-old baby where the teacher said even the proprietress was also complicit, saying that what they did, they didn't kill the boy, they only flogged him with 31 strokes of cane because he's a stubborn guy?
Yeah. The thing is, I just shook my head because the issues are deeper than we think. Because these people, they could have mental health challenges, but even at that, a lot of them do not understand the stages of development when a child is growing up. There are things that are expected of a child. This child is a baby. This child has no business in school anyway. If a child is going out of the house at that time, they're going to a daycare to eat, sleep, poo, and just have fun. So those people don't understand expected behavior of a 2-year-old, 19-month-old baby. There are countries around the world like Finland that children don't go to school till the age of 7. But in Nigeria, it's the book. Even some parents will go to school and tell you that, oh, please flog my child if they're naughty. Discipline my child, punish them. Because we don't understand how to bring children up. We assume that parenting is innate. Parenting is not innate. It is to be learned. But we will say, oh, we know how to do it. Nobody can tell me how to raise my children. And then we are killing the children. How many children have parents killed that we have not heard about? And they will say it's malaria or something. You know, many of those things don't hit the media. But these things are happening nationally.
Well, if she's a teen, you can sit them down, talk sense into them. But what about a baby? How do you get them disciplined?
You
and then whip them into life?
No, we don't whip babies into life.
No, what I say whip, I mean, I don't mean whip in the physical sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be any means. Because I know when I was growing up, my mom would say, you're not going to eat tonight. But you eat at the end of the day, but you still cry that, I'm not going to eat, Mom. But you still eat at the end of the day. But the food, the dinner might just be delayed. So is that one of the ways?
So when we want to discipline children, we need to know that we need to discipline ourselves first. And we need to understand the children. We need to understand expected behavior. If I bring a baby, a 2-year-old baby here, what is the baby going to do? Sit down here and discuss with us and have a nice conversation? I don't think so. That baby is going to be moving around, trying to touch everything that is here. And then the parent is frustrated and starts hitting the child. Sit down. Don't you know we're on TV? No, there's something that is called an expected behavior. That child is supposed to be doing that. If that child is neurotypical, that child is supposed to do that. But because we don't understand ourselves, we don't understand what we're doing, we put our frustration on that child. Our frustration from work, our frustration from having no lights, bad roads, pressures of life. We are not patient enough with the children. When we are patient enough with the children, we understand that what they are doing is what they are supposed to be doing. And then you correct them in love.
Right.
Discipline is something that should be done in love. When you have a child, you have to be patient. People are having 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 children. When they can't even handle one single child. It is very, very challenging to raise a child. One child, you have to continue to repeat. You have to continue to teach the child. But what do? We use this corporal punishment. Long term, A lot of people don't even love their parents. A lot of people are just saying, oh, let me go send money home, so that they won't say I didn't send money home. They don't have those emotional connections. Because every time they hit that child, they build a bridge between themselves and the child.
Let's take this back to the four walls of the car, just within the hours you can spend with your parents. That reminds me of when I was growing up in secondary school. We used to have a maths teacher. Maths teachers can be very, very, I know, we used to call this man Mr. Irrational. Those who went to the same school with me would definitely know what I'm saying. I blame my not being able to solve mathematical equations, very, simultaneous equation and all those quite interesting formulas, which I used to know. But this man will face the blackboard, do all the workings, talking to the blackboard,
Exactly.
And then face back. Do you understand? We say, no. It does it again. Do you understand? No. And it brings you back to, the blackboard, do it. And if you don't do it, it said it's going to flog you, 4 or 5 strokes of cane. Before you get first stroke of cane, he has beaten 10. So next time I get to see this man, I don't want to say scale the window. The window is so low, so I could just, cross over the window whenever he came to class. So how do you describe that kind of, pedagogic methods of teaching students?
Again, it's because they do not understand teaching methodologies.
Exactly.
Did that flogging bring that solution to your brain?
No.
Did it suddenly magically make you understand how to do it? A lot of people still don't understand maths till today. A lot of people still find it scary. It's because the way that has been delivered. A lot of mathematics teachers, they know maths, but they don't know how to teach maths. There's one thing knowing maths, that's another thing knowing how to teach. Yes, there is. And there's another thing where there's pressure in the classroom for the teachers. They have 20, 30, 40, 50, 100. Some cases 150, 350 I've even heard in some schools. How does 1 or 2 people, how do they teach all those people? How do they control the classroom? The classroom is massive. They can't do it. It's not physically possible for one person to get through. As though they're making noise there, they're making noise there. You don't know what to do. So you feel you have to treat them like animals. So classroom sizes, ratios, all those things, they need. So teachers have to go back to training. We have to go back to those schools, those teacher training colleges where they're cheating there, so that we can tell them and let them understand the basics of love, basics of empathy, and basics of teaching, which includes stages of development of a child.
Well, it reminds me of one of my cousins, nephew precisely. When he was growing up, I was told, because it's quite, he's older than I do. He cried a lot when he was a baby. He cried a lot, but he was in crash. And I learned that maybe the custodian was always giving this boy a sleeping pill because he cried a lot. And at the point they realized the guy was just being somewhat retarded, is not conserved, but he would just sit down, he would just be looking because of the effect of the pill. So what would you say about, she's talked about some, the quality, the qualifications of teachers, but how should parents be also observing their kids when they come back from school?
You see, when you talked about the 2-year-old, should children be in school? My daughter went to school at 7 months old. I wanted her to be in school. My mother-in-law was with me, so I had a support system, but she still went to school because I could see already that she was a very social baby. She wanted to, go around, and I wanted her to do that. So it's a choice that parents want to make. Whether it wasn't a case of money for me in my own situation, so I just wanted her to be in school. So I really want to reinforce that parents can take their children. It's not school, it's daycare at that age. At that age, under the age of 3, they go to play. That's what people call jealousy. We just go out and go and play. So there is nothing wrong with taking your child to daycare. The way parents typically look for schools in Nigeria. Lakbaja, which school does your child go to? Because I came from the UK 10 years ago, and I was looking for schools. I will ask people, if you are looking for business deals, go to that place, networking, this one, that one. The latest parties, you will meet them there. That is the reality of Lagos. Let's not speak any American English or broken anything. Let us say that is it. That is how people look. They do not look for a school in the best interest of the child. They look for a school in the best interest of themselves, where they can get some popularity, some fame. They can go there at PTAs and they can show off and go there at sports day and do musical chairs and do all sorts of things. It becomes a social gathering for them. They do not say, this is my child. Which school deserves to have my child? What is it that school has that will be suitable? A school can be 100 years old and be thriving. And many children have gone there. but it may not be right for your own unique child. You need to say, what is it that my child needs? Not copy what A, B, and C are doing, which is typically what happens. They don't want to go to schools that are not, the name is not out there, because they don't want to say it when they go to their parties. They want to say, my child goes to X, Y, and Z. Whether or not it's serving you, whether or not or your child is happy there, that is what they want to do.
Right. So, government responds sometimes to closing down some of these schools. You begin to think, what about the students, innocent students of that school? What happened to them? So, should that be the ultimate sanction? What happens to such students in that school if the government has to close it down?
The thing is, if we're doing our ongoing inspections, we won't have those issues. When the case of Hanifa happened in Kano and they closed all the schools in Kano, it obviously showed a leadership issue. Because I'm someone that I'm doing my best. I'm only around the corner from the school. I'm constantly there doing my best. Somebody does something 10 miles away and I get shut down. It makes no sense. Now, in that case of Down, there is a systemic issue. It wasn't a one-off. There was a culture of abusing children, whether it's themselves, whether it's the teachers. So there's a systemic issue. Now, when you have a one-off, you have to investigate that one-off.
Right.
That's
Le Posh School, RonkePosh, Adini, for your time.
Thank you.